Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Gavinsky's Tutorials. Today I'm going to do a walkthrough of Musyc2 by FingerLab. This is absolutely brilliant. So look here, I'm zooming out, just using a two-finger gesture on the screen. So this is available for iPad, iPhone, and it runs on Macs as well. It's $10 at the moment on intro price, which is 30% off. This is an app that is so fun, I think, to experiment with, and it works as a MIDI generator. So, for example, here it's triggering piano tech from this little MIDI instance, but it also has its own sounds and stuff built in, so you can use it as an instrument, and you can load your own samples and everything as well. Although that's not something I've experimented with yet. But I have been through the manual and I have a sort of decent understanding of the app. I think this video will be useful. So yeah, it runs standalone or as a plugin. So here I've got it loaded on my iPad inside the host app AUm. Obviously, advantage of using it as a plugin, as you'll know if you're a regular in this channel, but I think this app might appeal to some people who are not so familiar. You know, if it's a plugin, you can load multiple instances, you can add your own effects. I just did a walkthrough on this earlier today, this effect by Audio Thing Space Strip. Okay, so if we look at the UI, if we tap up here, we can scroll through some factory presets. The factory presets tend to be pretty complicated. Again, you know, you can zoom in and you can interact with these. I can add one of these little sticks here by just drawing. These sticks, when objects hit them, it'll create a note. These look different, by the way, just because they're saved with different skins. You know, if I tap on this settings cog, you can change the skin here. Okay. So, you know, you can definitely do simple things with this as well. Let me see, I've only saved a couple of presets in the in the instrument. You know, this is just a very simple little example. Note when I move this is called a scale object. It's switching between two scales. Like here, it's now playing C pentatonic major scale. Whoops, where's that gone? But when this scale object is over here, it's playing this D pentatonic Balinese. This app is so creative, and I'm so happy to see an AUv3 that is, you know, really an iPad or iPhone instrument. You know, so many plugins these days for iPad and iPhone are just copying desktop plugins. It's so bloody annoying. I'm so sick of it. I really want more plugins like this that actually take advantage of the touch screen. But yeah, you know, you can use this with a mouse, and remember, it is available for Mac as well. I think this is going to be a very popular release. It's really cool. So, let's see. If I go in here, I'm going to tap reset. Okay, and that'll just clear everything. And so let's just start off by adding some shapes. So I'm just going to use the instrument version of this for this part. So here I've got this selected. So now if I tap here, it's going to add one of these. So if I tap here, it'll now add one of these, and these are you know, if I tap on this mixer here, I can control things like the volume, the pitch, and the length of these, and the panning. if I tap here, right, I can change what instrument each one is playing. Like this one here, that's set to whirly at the moment. The next one's set to Rhodes, the next one's set to Callisto, next Semaphore. I'm not using an example of that one at the moment. But, I can go in and change those, right? So we have a bunch of different options. But again, even the instrument instances send out MIDI. So I could send that into this instance of Piano Tech, and I could send just the circle or just the rectangle, or any combination of these. Okay. And here also there's some way, is it in this or is it in the mixer or what, you're able to load samples. I wonder if it only has that in the standalone, the ability to do that, I'm not sure. Haven't gone into everything in detail. So look, see here now, when I hit different parts of this stick, I'll get, like over here, it's high notes. So basically we're playing the scale, as we go down here. Okay, so if I have this selected, I then have some settings down here. Like I can adjust the size. This is so cool, I think. Now look, with this here, I can actually record these movements. And then I can press play to play that back. So that's now playing back the recorded movement. Look, I grab this stick, I can just pull it down. But you see, because I recorded that movement, that's still up there, yeah? So let me see, I think if I press this, it will get rid of that, or maybe not. Let me see, what do I have to do to clear that? Not sure, to be honest. I think I'll have to revisit that part of the manual again, obviously. So if I tap here, I can change the sound object. This one here is for percussive sounds. Look at this as well. If I tap one object and tap another one, it'll put a string between them. And so it's all this physics-based stuff. You see now I'm actually dragging this one, and look, it's wow, it's dragging that one, and that one can't get past this. So I got to, like, this is just so well designed and interesting. Wow, absolutely brilliant. Those are now attached. Fabulous. And so I can add in, I can use the eraser. If I select that and tap this, it will disappear. I don't want to do that right now. I think I'll leave this the way it is. I can add in more sticks, and I just do that by drawing. So I hear me just grabbing my finger from one point to another. So, I could trap those objects inside something. And again, if that's too big, I can go in here and reduce the size. Let's add in another one. Now I've put that one outside. So, you know, it'll let me drag it inside and outside the stick. But once I let go of it, it's going to use physics, so it can't walk through walls. It can't get through that stick. I think, you know, kids would absolutely love this app. What a great little thing for kids and teenagers, but also for adults. So if I don't like that, just press the eraser and get rid of it. By the way, if it's hard to you know, get something because it's moving and you want to erase it or whatever, just press pause. Okay, let me just erase all these things. Let me move these around a little bit. Let me put this in here. So I've now tapped on this object. And so you see now, this is just producing little balls. So if I tap here, this is a sequencer object, this is called. So basically, we can, you know, adjust the size and everything here, right? Here, I can put in steps, right? So this is following the tempo, 63 BPM. So now there are no steps. So eventually these will stop being generated, right? If I add a step here, every time the playhead passes this place, it will create an object. Now, if I tap this plus, I can change some things. Lifetime just means how long it will stick around for. So if I put a very short lifetime here, and I don't have many steps, then we're going to get rests, basically, in our music. And now, don't worry, this doesn't have to stay static like that. I'll show you something really cool in a minute. So then impulse, this is affecting the gravity. You see the way now the new objects produced after I changed that are bouncing higher. If I bring that down, new objects will bounce lower. Note this will only apply to new objects. That's really cool. And so then here we can change the angle. And so now we'll start getting it going off to a side. And so then we'll start getting pitch. So if I add in a few more steps and increase lifetime, we'll have a lot more polyphony. So interesting. Okay, let me erase that object. These will stick around for their lifetime, I guess. But we can also grab objects and just sort of throw them away. Hang on, let me see. See that? I've just got rid of those by flicking them off the screen. Okay. So let's not do another sequence yet, hang on. So, you know, if I want things to change pitch, just throw them. Let me move this first. Erase that. So now I've grabbed that. And so just throw it. And so if I throw something slowly, well, it's going to be exactly just like if I throw a ball slowly or whatever. And if I throw it quickly, oh, that one got out somehow. You know, it's going to have more momentum. This thing here, this is called a black hole. And things will disappear when they hit that. If we tap here, we have other objects as well. So this is the scale object. So let me just show you an example that I already made here. So if I tap the scale object, oops, I tapped the wrong thing. Yeah. So here, you know, you just drag through to change the scale. So let's just change that to minor, let's say. And this one, you know, let me just change totally different key and scale. Let's just say major. So now when this object is on the left side, we've got a D minor scale. When it's over here, we've got D major. And you know, you can also record the movements of this, right? See, now that's automated. Here, I've recorded the movement. Whoops. Let me pause it. This one here, its movement has been recorded. The main thing with this is it's just so fun to play around with, I think. So this thing here, this object, this is called a bumper. And it's a bit like that thing in a pinball machine. When things hit it, they might bounce off it in a more aggressive way, basically. So let me just change its position. See? So I could add maybe another one of those over here. And we got it like a pinball machine. I could add a whole bunch of those, look. It's an absolutely brilliant app. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. Look at this little thing moving around. So a bit of unpredictability in there. Fab. This is a planet. When you put in a planet, things will be attracted to it. Whoops. Let me erase that. Damn. I want to select that planet. How do I do it? I press planet again, maybe? There we go. Yeah. So, you know, I can adjust. Like any object, if you select it, you'll get a thing down here with various options. Let me just jump back a second to the sequence one. So let me, you know, leave a sequence in there maybe, but I'm going to make the steps more infrequent. I'll make the lifetime smaller. I had too many sequences going there. move the sequence object. So they're not going to do anything. Here I can change the angle to try and make them hit that bumper object. There we go. So, you know, I mean, obviously, when you're just messing around with this like I am, the outputs might not be that musical, but you can set everything up, you know, and that's the fun part. Again, like Fugue Machine Rubato, which I did a video on here recently, which is a very different app, mind you, and a far more difficult learning curve. But that one, I also said it's an app for people who want to enjoy the process, and that's the same with this one, I'd say. So this one here, this is some sort of modulation thing. Let me see. See if I haven't actually played with this one yet. Let me see if I can get something going here. Let me check my notes on this. Modulation, okay. So the modulator object, all right, it modulates the stage settings like the physics speed, physics gravity, the tempo, or the object's parameters, size, volume, etc. in real time. Oh yeah, you've got to link this to something. Okay, so I need to link it to something. Let me link it to, so I touch it and touch something else. So to link an object to the modulator, use the string button in the modulator property toolbar, or put one finger in the modulator and another on the object. So I'm touching that and I'm touching this thing here, and you see now those are linked. Right, okay. Wow. So this object has parameters like modulation speed, that's this rate here. Modulation range from minimum to maximum. Modulation type, the parameter to be modulated. So see here, I'm tapping this and it's changing volume, pitch. See now the pitch is changing, right? Here it's the length that's changing. Size, that's what we had earlier. That's super interesting. And here, you know, the modulator type. Wow, interesting. And then you have effect objects. So see here, there's an effects tab. And we have these different effects. So turn them on. So overdrive, that's effect 1. So now, see, this is an XY pad, right? You can play this. But you see here, it's basically like we've automated the XY pad. Now, I've turned that off. I could change this type. Let's see what we've got. Delay, for example. So now I turn this on. And now that's a delay effect that's being automated. And now that's a reverb effect that's being automated. And it's just on that object that I linked it to. Envelope, filter, phaser. Formant, filter. Texturizer, wow. Robotizer, Dalek, blah, blah, blah. Pretty cool, huh? So yeah, you know, you don't have to modulate these effects. You can also just turn them on and play them, and then here you can like determine which objects will actually have the effect applied to them. So if I turn all of these off, that effect will not be applied at all, that delay effect. If I have this on, the delay effect is only being applied to those types of objects. Super cool. So tap this little thing up on the top and you can get rid of that panel there. Settings. Here we have some global settings for the speed and gravity of the physics model. If you're using the standalone, you can change the tempo. You can change the skins, which is a lovely feature. So pastel, phantom, black and white, classic. Okay. The pastel one's pretty nice. You can also, it seems, turn on accelerometer. It's not letting me turn that on. I think I did see something that's maybe iPhone only, but I assumed it would work on iOS, but I don't know. I'm tapping that and it's not turning it on. So I don't know. So yeah, you know, here, jump between the factory presets. You can also save. If you make your own presets, just press save as. Reset to clear everything there. And I think we've pretty much covered everything. I see there's an undo here as well, which is great. What an interesting little app. I'm really so happy to see apps like this coming out. Reminds me of the golden age of the iPad when you had more apps that actually tried to take advantage of the touchscreen. I would encourage everybody to support developers like this who are doing that, because this is what we need on iPad, especially more of these as AUv3s, because most of the really great touchscreen apps, you know, all the stuff like Borderlands and Sampler and everything, they are not AUv3 plugins, so you can't load them in a host like this. You know, multiple instances, you can't, you know, then change the size and have, you know, you could have a few of these open and play around with one while you've got another one open. So yeah, hats off to FingerLab. Brilliant job. All right, everyone, take it easy and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.